Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. Changes are needed under Ralf Rangnick if Manchester United are to progress. Recently, Rangnick was unimpressed by his side's lack of intensity against Norwich. Manchester United recently beat Norwich 1-0. Reflecting on the win against Norwich, it's back-to-back wins in the Premier League for Ralf Rangnick. At the moment, Rangnick is unbeaten as Manchester United manager. Revert back to earlier on in the week, it said Rangnick has got a midfield plan at Man United. ESPN said that Jude Bellingham, Amadou Haidara and Calvin Phillips are key targets for Rangnick. And he told bosses at Manchester United that their midfield is weak in his interview for the job. Ralf Rangnick has been given a £100 million transfer budget for January. Rangnick is Manchester United's interim manager until the end of the season. Then after that he will continue in a consultancy role for a further 2 years. If Rangnick does well as the interim manager, there is a chance that he'll get the Man United job on a permanent basis. Before Manchester United, Rangnick was the head of sports and development at Lokomotiv Moscow. Now, Manchester United play Brentford on Tuesday at the Brentford Community Stadium. It is a 7:30 kick-off. And the Manchester United players have to respond. It will be a very tough game against Brentford because Brentford are enjoying a very good season to their standards. Brentford are sitting 9th in the Premier League. And Brentford won their last game against Watford 2-1. This season has been Brentford's first ever season in the Premier League. Before this season, the last time Brentford were in the top flight was back in 1947. That's around 74 years ago now. Brentford have got some very good players. Brentford, of course, have got Ivan Toney. He's probably Brentford's best player. Ivan Toney is not in contention to play in this game as he's got COVID. Brentford have also got Max Haygarth. He's an attacking player. They've also got Tariq Fosu. He's out with injury at the moment. Brentford have also got Marcus Fors. They've got Brian Mbumo. He's a good attacking player. They've also got Sergi Canos. He's very good. They've also got that Joshua Da Silva. He's out with injury at the moment. Brentford have also got Shandon Baptiste. He's a very good player. They've also got Christian Norgard. He's good. They've also got Pontus Jansson. They've got Rico Henry, they've got Finn Stevens, they've got Joe Valencia, they've got Charlie Good. So they are quite a few of the players that Brentford have got. Let's put into the equation that Brentford lost Ollie Watkins to Aston Villa. And they also lost Ben Rama to West Ham. Brentford's manager is Thomas Frank. Got to give him credit, I think he's done a really good job at Brentford. He's been Brentford manager for over 3 years. He's got a contract with Brentford until 2023. Before he was the Brentford manager, he was the Brentford assistant. Before, Thomas Frank managed Bromby. And before, he managed Denmark's under 16s, under 17s and under 19s. You know, if Manchester United do beat Brentford on Tuesday night, that will be 4 wins in a row in the Premier League. You know, Manchester United are coming into this game on the back of a 1-0 win against Norwich. Obviously, the goal came from a Cristiano Ronaldo penalty. Ronaldo won the penalty as he was dragged down by Max Aarons. So Ronaldo now has 13 goals in all competitions since he re-signed for Man United, and he's got 802 goals in his career. Manchester United do have some players missing now. You know the news on Victor Lindelof. Lindelof had to come off against Norwich because he was suffering breathing difficulties and chest pains. Obviously, Lindelof got seen by the club doctor, and recently Ralf Rangnick provided us with an update on Lindelof, and he said he seems okay. I'm hearing that Lindelof is out until late December, so reflecting on that, Lindelof won't be in contention to play against Brentford. And Wan-Bissaka, he's still out with injury. He came off injured in the 1-1 draw against Young Boys. Not too sure if he's going to be available for this game. Rafael Varane, he's still out with a hamstring injury, but he's close to returning. Cavani is still out with injury, but he's close to returning. Pogba, he's got a thigh injury. As you all know, Pogba's out for the rest of the year. You know, prior to the game against Norwich, he said that Ralf Rangnick will not try to persuade Paul Pogba to stay at Manchester United if he wants to go. Pogba's current contract at Man United expires next summer. Revert back to the start of the season, Pogba rejected a new Man United contract offer. So they're the injuries Man United have got. Matic, he's out with a cold, and now Juan Mata, he's out with illness. Martial, he recently picked up an injury, but he doesn't really get in the team anyway. Manchester United's next game after Brentford is Brighton. You know, Manchester United have got winnable games coming up. Manchester United are 5th in the Premier League at the moment. You know, there's a very good chance that Man United will finish in the top 4 this season. I'm hoping we can win a trophy this season under Ralf Rangnick, because we haven't won a trophy since 2017. Now, I can assure at the end of the season that Manchester United will get a permanent manager. There's been quite a few names linked with that permanent role at Man United. Now, obviously, Erik Ten Hag has been spoken about again. Revert back to earlier on in the season, it did say that Erik Ten Hag is said to be interested in the Manchester United job in the summer, and Ajax will not stand in his way if he wants to leave at the end of the season. Revert back to earlier on in the week, Edwin van der Sar spoke about Manchester United's interest in Erik Ten Hag, and Edwin van der Sar believes Ajax could lose Edwin van der Sar in the summer. Sorry, Erik Ten Hag in the summer. Edwin van der Sar expects a future role at Manchester United. I'd love to see Edwin van der Sar come back to the club. Edwin van der Sar is a former Man United goalkeeper. He endured 6 years as a goalkeeper for Man United. Now, Edwin van der Sar is the CEO at Ajax. He's worked as a CEO at Ajax since 2016. Mauricio Pochettino's obviously been mentioned a lot. I still believe there's a good chance that he will be Manchester United's next permanent manager. Revert back to earlier on in the season, Pochettino came out and said that he's happy at PSG. Said it a few times. And he did mention that he won't let the Man United rumours distract him. You know, don't forget PSG did reject Manchester United's move to appoint Mauricio Pochettino. But revert back to earlier on in the season, reports were circulating out saying that Pochettino's interested in the Man United job. And you know, the Manchester Evening News came out and said that Man United are confident of appointing Mauricio Pochettino as their next permanent manager. And it said Manchester United agreed to pay the 10 million compensation fee for Pochettino. Revert back to when Manchester United sacked Mourinho. Manchester United should have got Pochettino then, but the club decided to go with Solskjaer instead. Pochettino is a good manager despite the fact that he's hardly won anything. I think he has won a French Cup at PSG. He's got a full season left on his PSG contract as Pochettino. He's managed in the Premier League before, which is beneficial, because before he managed Tottenham, he endured 5.5 years at Tottenham. Didn't win anything at Tottenham, but he still did well because in 2018 he guided Tottenham to their first ever Champions League final, and at one point he almost won the league at Tottenham. And before Pochettino managed Southampton, he only endured a short tenure at Southampton, but he still managed to guide Southampton to their highest ever finish in the Premier League. So there you go. Revert back to the other week, Roberto Mancini was also mentioned. The Metro come out and said that Man United consider hiring Roberto Mancini instead of Mauricio Pochettino, but revert back to earlier on in the week, Roberto Mancini denied becoming Manchester United's next permanent manager. And revert back to earlier on in the season, Brendan Rodgers was also mentioned as well, but I initially disregarded Brendan Rodgers becoming Man United's next permanent manager because earlier on in the season, Brendan Rodgers dismissed links to the Man United job. And he said, "I'm proud to be at Leicester," but at one point, he said that Rodgers was house hunting in Cheshire, and that did stir some suggestions up. And at that point, he said Rodgers was the favourite to replace Ole Gunnar Solskjaer at Manchester United. You know, Manchester United have sacked 4 permanent managers since Ferguson. Manchester United sacked David Moyes, Louis van Gaal, Jose Mourinho, and 3 weeks ago Manchester United sacked Ole Gunnar Solskjaer following the 4-1 defeat to Watford. Solskjaer was Manchester United manager for almost 3 years. Ralf Rangnick, he's going to offload players next year. Obviously, the news on Anthony Martial. Prior to the game against Norwich, Martial's agent confirmed that Anthony Martial wants to leave Manchester United in January, because obviously Anthony Martial is demanding more game time and he's getting nowhere near enough game time at Manchester United. Martial has only started 2 games in the league so far this season. Like I said, he's out with injury at the moment. The last game Martial played was the 2-0 win against Villarreal, and Martial started on the left-hand side in that game. Martial's only enjoyed 1 good season at Man United, and that was his debut season under Louis van Gaal. Martial has scored 79 goals in 268 appearances in all competitions. Manchester United paid an initial fee of 36 million for Martial, but rises up to around 57 or 58 million with add-ons. He's been at Manchester United for 6.5 years. He's got 3 years left on his contract. Edison Cavani, I think he's also leaving the club next year. Revert back to not so long ago, Cavani said he's interested in making a move to Barcelona, and Barcelona are keen on signing Cavani in January, but only for a modest price. Cavani's out of injury at the moment. Revert back to what I mentioned earlier. He had an injury earlier on this season. Cavani's current contract at Man United expires next summer. Manchester United got Cavani on a free transfer from PSG. This season's been his 2nd full season at Man United. Cavani initially lost his place in the team, with the club re-signing Ronaldo last summer. Juan Mata, I think he's also leaving the club next year. Mata's contract at Man United expires next summer. Revert back to earlier on in the year, Juan Mata extended his contract for a further year. I don't understand why, because Juan Mata doesn't really get in the team. Plus he's lost that yard of pace and he's aging up. But despite that, I reckon that he's had a good career at Man United. Juan Mata, he's made over 200 appearances in all competitions and he's scored over 50 goals. He's been a long-serving player at Man United as well. He's been at the club for 8 years. Manchester United got Juan Mata from Chelsea back in 2014 for 40 million. Mata played in the 1-1 draw against Young Boys. Lingard, I think he's also leaving the football club next year. I'm hearing that Newcastle are interested in him. I heard that Newcastle are preparing a contract offer. Newcastle are planning to spend big, obviously, with that takeover they had by the Saudi Arabians. I heard earlier on in the season that West Ham want to re-sign Lingard. Well, at the second half of last season, Lingard enjoyed a 4-month loan spell with West Ham and he made an impact. And I heard as well at one point Lingard's interested in going abroad. Lingard doesn't really get in the team, does he? He's only made 2 starts this season. Lingard did start in the 1-1 draw against Young Boys. The BBC said earlier on this season that Lingard's future at Man United is in doubt after talks over a new contract collapsed. Lingard's contract at Man United expires next summer. if Manchester United sell Lingard in January, I reckon they can get around £10 million for him. Donnie Van Der Beek, I think there's a good chance that he's leaving in January because Van Der Beek just doesn't get enough starts at Manchester United. You know, Van Der Beek didn't start against Norwich yesterday, but he did come on in the game. Van Der Beek started in the 1-1 draw against Young Boys. He was in an unfamiliar role in that game. You know, he was the holding midfielder. His performance was good against Young Boys, apart from the poor pass he made that led to the Young Boys equaliser. The only way we can persuade Van Der Beek to stay, and that's if he gets the opportunities he's been demanded under Ralf Rangnick, because revert back to when Man United had Solskjaer, you know, Van Der Beek got nowhere near enough opportunities, and reflecting on that, Van Der Beek was very frustrated. Van Der Beek's only scored 2 goals for the club, and he's been at Manchester United for over a year and a half. Manchester United got Van Der Beek for 40 million with add-ons included. He's under contract to Man United till 2025. There's an option of a further year. I can definitely assure that Van Der Beek will not see out his contract. And he's versatile. He can play in 3 different roles. Paul Pogba, you know, he could be leaving the club next year. If Pogba leaves next year, he'll leave in the summer. He won't leave in January, you know, midway through the season. Like I said, Paul Pogba's current contract at Man United expires next summer. As you all know, Pogba's not available at the moment. He's out with a thigh injury. He's been a miss. He really has, because revert back towards the start of the season, Pogba was in scintillating form. Matic, you know, there's a good chance that Man United will offload him next year. Matic isn't one of our first choice midfielders, but despite that, he still seems to get his opportunities. And surprisingly enough, he's been ahead of Van Der Beek in that midfield. I think Matic is the only predominant centre defensive midfielder Man United have got. Like I said, Matic has got a cold now. Matic started at centre half in the 1-1 draw against Young Boys. I thought he was poor against Young Boys because his passing was too wayward. Manchester United got Matic from Chelsea back in 2017 for around £40 million. I think our second choice fullbacks, Alex Telles and Diego Dalot, could be leaving the club next year. They've had a lot of game time in recent weeks, but obviously Luke Shaw and Bissaka have endured injuries. Jones and Bailly, I think they're also going next year, and Dean Henderson wants a loan move away from the club. Henderson's confirmed that. We might as well go out on loan, because Henderson doesn't really get in goal now, because revert back to last summer, De Gea reclaimed that number 1 spot back. Henderson was in goal for the 1-1 draw against Young Boys, but that was only his second appearance of the season. Revert back to earlier on in the season, Henderson was out with COVID for a while, but towards the end of last season, Henderson got that number 1 jersey, and he, you know what, he did well in a lot of the games he was in goal for last season. So there you go. On my next video, I will be giving you my predicted 11 for Manchester United's game against Brentford. So anyway guys, 7 to update you with. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon.